David Smith here with another Flip Classroom math video. A few tips before we start. Remember that you can slow down or speed up the playback if that helps you follow along. You can also pause the video at any point to catch up with your notes or to try the problems before I explain them. Finally, you could turn on the captions and read my words below on the bottom of your screen. Okay, because I know that completing the square is complicated, I thought I'd do another video with slightly more difficult problems. I'm going to walk you through 4 of them. Hopefully this will help you perfect your technique. And as always, if you're still struggling, make sure that you ask questions when you're in class next. Okay, and if you feel like you want to try it, just pause the video and do one of these examples before I explain it. And then you can test yourself when you see how I go through it. Okay. So here's one, x squared plus 6x plus 6. Again, let's check to see if we can product sum factor this. Are there 2 numbers that multiply to 6 that also add to 6? And you're not going to find them. It just doesn't work. So next step would be get the constant over to the other side. So that's going to give us x squared plus 6x equals negative 6. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find out what b over 2 squared is. Okay, so I'm just going to do this out loud. B over 2, 6 over 2 is 3. Squared 3 is 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. We get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now 9 and negative 6 is positive 3. So there we go. Now this is a perfect square. It is a perfect square because we did b over 2 squared. If you do this step right, then you can just go right to x plus half of that squared equals 3. So that's the step that's called completing the square. Now we're going to solve. And we need to take our square root. So square root of both sides. X plus 3 equals plus minus root 3. Move the 3 over. X equals negative 3 plus minus root 3. Notice how we have an ugly answer. In fact, you probably noticed that all of these problems end up with ugly answers. In fact, if you do one of these and you wind up with nice integers, no roots on this side, that means that the original quadratic could have been solved by factoring. Completing the square will work on a factorable quadratic. It's just way more steps than you need to do. Okay, now if you feel like that gave you the tools you need, pause the video and try that one. Okay, let's see how you did. X squared plus 6x equals 11. I moved my constant over. Now figure out my b over 2 squared. So b again is 6, just like it was here. So 6 over 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. X squared plus 6x plus 9. Now 11 plus 9 is 20. Now I know I have a perfect square, same perfect square as this one, so I'm just going to go right to that. X plus 3 squared equals 20. Take the square root of both sides. X plus 3 equals plus minus root 20. Now I'm going to simplify root 20 right here. 20 can be factored as 4 times 5. Okay, so let me write that out. Now 4 is a perfect square, so it can come out of the square root sign as its square root. So that becomes a 2, and we write 2 root 5. So what this is showing us is that x plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 20, which is 4 times 5, which is 2 root 5. What did I miss? I should have a plus minus in front of all of these. Okay, let's finish her up. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, so x equals negative 3 plus minus 2 root 5. Okay, 2 more problems. A little harder, but the same process that you've got. Okay, so x squared minus 10x minus 3 equals 0. Go ahead and pause the video and really give that a try. See if you can do it before I explain it. Okay, so let's take our steps one at a time. Move the constant over to the other side. That gives us x squared minus 10x equals 3. Now don't let the negative mess you up. We can still do b over 2 squared. This is my b term. So minus 10 over 2 is minus 5. Minus 5 squared is positive 25. So that's going to give us x squared minus 10x plus 25. Now I added 25 to this side, so I have to add 25 to this side as well. I already have a 3 over there, so that becomes 28. Okay? Now this is a perfect square. It is because we did our b over 2 squared thing. So this is always going to be x, whatever that sign is, minus half of that number, 5 squared. So this reduces to that. That's the whole perfect square thing, equals 28. Take the square root of both sides, x minus 5 equals plus minus root 28. Now I'm going to take the opportunity to simplify this radical because I can. And remember, you are on the hook for doing that. You won't lose a lot of points if you don't, but you'll lose something. 28 is 4 times 7. 4 is a perfect square, so it can come out of the radical as its square root, which is 2. So this winds up being plus or minus 2 root 7, because the 7 stays in the root. So I have x minus 5 equals plus or minus 2 root 7. Add 5 to both sides to isolate x. We get 5 plus minus 2 root 7. Okay? Another ugly answer. Just get comfortable with those. Okay, finally, pause the video, see if you can do that one. Okay, let's see how you did. First step, move constant to other side. X squared minus 22x equals 4. Okay, I just added 4 to both sides. Now find my b over 2 squared. So b over 2, negative 22 over 2, is negative 11. That's just 22 divided by 2. So negative 11. Squaring negative 11 gives us positive 121. So this is x squared minus 22x plus 121 equals, now I have a 4 over here, so I'm going to add 121 to 4 and get 125. Okay? Now what I did is I made this thing into a perfect square, so now I can reduce it down to x, that sign, which is minus, half of the 22, which is 11, squared equals 125. Now I take the square root of both sides, x minus 11 equals plus minus square root of 125. Now, 125 has some perfect square factors. Think for a minute, see if you can figure out what they are. It's 5 times 25. That makes 125, and 25 is a perfect square. So that can come out of the root as its square root, which is just 5. So this ends up being plus minus 5 root 5. So what I have here is I have x minus 11 equals plus minus 5 root 5. Add 11 to both sides. X equals 11 plus minus 5 root 5. And we're done. So if you're still struggling with complete the square, stay with it, ask for help, watch the video again. I know you can get this. And this is an essential technique used in algebra, so you're probably going to get it next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. So you need to master it. Now that you've watched the video, take a moment and write down any questions that you might have so you can bring them to our next class. Remember that you can always watch the video again and perfect your notes. Finally, if you enjoyed the video, please click the like button down below. And if you'd like to help me grow my YouTube channel, please click subscribe.